What's up everybody, my name is Martin and you are watching a new video. So, I woke up this morning as I do every day, or else I wouldn't be making videos anymore. And I had this idea of making a diorama from a village where I was a few years back on holiday. So the village I'm talking about is Oradour Glane. And this journey was the most amazing trip I think I ever made, because I will tell you a little bit more throughout the video, but basically the entire village was slaughtered by the 2nd SS Das Reich division during the Second World War. And after they left, General de Gaulle from France said we have to keep this village in the state that it currently is, to remind ourselves how cruel the Second World War was. And one of the things that stand out when you go in the village is that you see a lot of rusted out cars from the villagers that used to live there. So I bought this little Citroën 11 CV, and it is exactly one of the models of cars that are standing in the village. And I will make a diorama with a building in the back, some dirt on the ground, one of those rusted out vehicles on the ground, and make it a bit of a memorial for what happened there during the Second World War on the 10th of June 1944. I will show you another diorama which I am also currently working on. Let's go there. So this is another diorama that I'm currently working on, and as you can see here, there's a poster thing, there's a tank in the back, and some things going on in the street. A Sherman tank that is being blown up. Right over there is a German machine gunner. There's also a German Fallschirmjäger right there in the window. And there are some other people lying around, and I also still have to finish this one. There's also some Americans here. He's not counting. This gives you kind of an idea what a diorama can look like. And as I mentioned before, I'm still working on that one, but it has already taken me quite some time to finish it, and I have to buy some more models, paint some more models, but for now I just want to get started with my Oradour Glane diorama. Okay, so now we are going to unbox this beautiful little car. It is in the box with only 2 tapes, one over there, one over there, and you can actually build 3 kinds of cars. You can build either the French army, the French civilian, or the Wehrmacht variant. And right here there oh, this is actually very small. I was not expecting that, but that doesn't matter. So the diorama doesn't have to be that big. It is it's about the size of my hand palm. So I'll take it out of the plastic so you can see it better. Also, the lighting is not very well here. I have a trick for that. Now I just have to see how this is going to work out. Climbing the thing underneath my chin, but that is not working very well. 2 seconds. It's lighting a bit. Alright, here we go. Maybe there is a bit too much light going on, but that doesn't matter. So, this is the body of the car, and it is quite small, but as I mentioned, that doesn't really matter, because the diorama will be not too big anyways, because it just has to be some kind of a memorial, but it will The way I have it in my head, it will turn out beautifully. The plastic things, I won't need this because all the windows were smashed in the cars. So also I most likely will only use the hard outside parts. So that will mean the bottom, the sides, the front. This looks like I think it's called the fender in English, I don't know. The steering wheel, I'll put it in there. The headlights. And most likely no seats, because these cars are standing around there in the village for 80 years already. So you can imagine that there is not very much on the vehicles anymore. But that doesn't matter, because it's going to be beautiful anyway. So I'm going to get some tools to get started. Most likely I will start to spray paint the whole thing. That will make it easier to paint the inside, and then we can start building. Okay, so I gave it a little base paint. As you can see right now, it's brown, because the entire car is supposed to be brown in the end. And I downloaded some photos of Oradour Glane, as you can see right here. I will also show the footage that I shot during my visit in this video, but I just wanted to keep this as a reference. So the car's gonna be looking a bit like that. And right over here I have the instructions. So this is actually one of the first times I'm doing a Tamiya, and yeah, I figure that I just have to start. As I mentioned, as you can see right here on this photo, you can see the back wheel, but it doesn't have a front wheel. And there are wheels in this one, right over here, and right there is your spare wheel. But I don't think I will add them on, because they're most likely stolen off. So I say we get to work. And I thought I would have a clipper or something, but yeah, whatever. Right, there we go. And make sure to take off these little, oh, not too much of course, because there's also some that pins that will have to stick in the, at least I think this is gonna be the case. Oh crap. Well, it's been rusting away, so a little bit more doesn't really matter. I have always been interested in Oradour Glane, and I can't remember when the first time was when I saw photos of the village. It is actually located halfway France, somewhere in the I don't remember what the region is called, but it was pretty warm that day. We had a long drive because we were visiting Normandy, and I wanted to go to Oradour Glane for a really long time. And when we got there, it was somewhere around the end of the day. But the next day when I got there, as you can see in the footage, I made it to be the first person in the village, and that was totally something different, because it is a ghost town now, and walking around there all alone, even though it was a very, very beautiful morning, it was really, really eerie. This is supposed to sit like that, as you can see. Next part will be this. So as I was saying, I was the only one in the village, and the rest of the visitors, the park is open around 9 o'clock in the morning, and the rest of the visitors were still in the visitor center. But I was like, oh well, I'll do that afterwards. Excuse me. So I made it through the visitor center into the village, and it was silent. You could hear some birds, but nobody else was around. And if you know the story of the village, as I mentioned already, it was slaughtered by the 2nd SS Das Reich division. But if you walk around there, even when we're in the evening and back in the hotel, the new village is located right next to where the old village is, but it definitely felt kind of off to be around there. I think I remember having a good night's sleep, but yeah, there's just this atmosphere around there that is very, very eerie. Okay, so far I've put in the axle right here in the back and here in the front, right over there, and I also put this piece right over there. As you can see, that is this part right here. And right now I am going to put the exhaust under the car. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to paint this little model, because it is entirely rusted out, and usually I would do my best to make the model look as good as possible. So that's the exhaust. I will show you. Here's a Spitfire that I built. Some mud from the wheels. Put some decals on there too. And I'm honestly quite happy with how this Spitfire turned out, but make an entire rusted out car is of course something else. I will definitely put the dashboard in there together with the steering wheel, but there are some parts which I will leave off because it doesn't do anything extra for the model. Right now I'm going to make the fender part, which is this little piece right here. Now we need the steering wheel together with the piece that makes the steering wheel rotate. And I can imagine that the Germans took a lot of parts from the cars and other vehicles that they found. Actually, not that they found, but that they stole and took it with them to make repairs along the way. Because they were on the way to Normandy, because the Allied invasion just started days earlier. And later on in the war, the 2nd SS also did some other very nasty stuff, so they could use all the resources that they found. Now, at the time from when the Germans arrived in the village, it was around noon, and it was a Saturday, and all the people were gathered to on a market square, and the men and the women and children were separated. The women and children being kept together, and the men were taken to another area in the village, and later on the women and children were taken to the church, and they didn't have any idea what was going to happen to them or to their husbands. And on a certain moment the firing started, so the machine guns were rattling. And that's of course when the people start to panic, and the women who were locked up in the church were locked up, and on a certain moment some crates were walked into the church, and these crates contained explosives, and they were put on fire. On the same time, the Germans started shooting at the women too. And there were some who tried to escape via a door in the church, but the Germans also made an effort to that nobody could escape from there. Oh man, this is, oh Christ, this isn't working very well. By then, the men were already, most of the men were already killed, and the locations where the men were shot were drained with gasoline, and it was set afire. So not every man in that pile of bodies was dead already. Most of them were only injured. They were being burned alive. So telling a story and doing this on the same time is quite a difficult job. But they were being burned alive. And at the end, when the people of Oradour were dead, some Germans left, later on returned, and they started looting, and they started drinking wine, killing chickens, eating the chickens, eating some other stuff that they found in the village, and they were partying like nothing happened. And the next day, of course, by the end of the day, some villagers were returning because they were working outside of the village, but they couldn't get any access into the village, so they were wondering what was going on, not knowing what happened just hours earlier. And they thought were seeking refuge in neighboring villages, until the next day when they returned to their homes and the Germans had left, only to find their mothers, their fathers, their children being killed and being burned alive. And it must have been a hell of a place to be. And they just left, and they went to relatives in the area, or to they just left the village because they didn't have anything to return to. Later on, when allies were gaining ground and the French were coming by, General de Gaulle said, we have to contain this village the way it is, to never ever experience the same thing, and show the world what happened here, how cruel men can be. And that is the story of Oradour sur Glane. Now, if you walk around there these days, you can still see the ruins and the old cars that I mentioned already. And it is something else to walk around there. And it is very hard to imagine how this could ever happen in a Western country. Of course, it was the Second World War. And of course, a lot of other very, very bad things happened. But it's just unimaginable how cruel men can be to each other. I think the car is coming together really fast. As you can see, this is basically the way it is. Looking from actual photo right over there. So not too much work on this. It is also quite small, as I mentioned already. Here's the Spitfire. I think, no, it's not the same scale. It is, no, it's not the same. This is a 1 in 72 and this is a 1 on 48. Let's add some headlights. And these headlights are hollow, as you can see, and I'm going to let them be hollow. Also, I need to add the air intake, and it will be the end of gluing. Well, maybe just one more part, although I cannot see it on the photos, so I think I might also leave it off. I'm talking about this part here, where the most likely the number plate will be. Alright, here we go. Actually, this morning I drove by a oldtimer show in the village where my girlfriend lives, and I saw this very same car in absolute excellent condition standing there, but I didn't stop to take a look there. As I mentioned, the glue is, the paint is still a little bit sticky, so it's quite hard to get it all properly in there. Oh man, I hate this when the glue is not entirely dry yet. Okay, so that will do. As you can see, it is only the body of the car, but it sure looks like on the photo. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to search for a nice underground to start building the rest of our diorama. See you in a bit. Okay, so the glue is dried, the paint is dried. You know what time that is. Scrape it up a little, because there's some red stuff going on here. Alright. Right, we got ourselves some paint, mostly brown. I'm using the Citadel paint because I really enjoy working with that. Some browns, light brown, dark brown, and I haven't been using these paints for a while, so I hope they're still workable. Oh, these are looking great. Yeah, we'll make it work. Okay, let me get a paper towel. And we'll make sure the paint is nice and thin. Start off with a base coat. Make sure all the spots are painted. Maybe I have to do something about these two little holes in the back, but I am not sure what I can do about it, so maybe I'll just cut off something of the sprue, because I still have everything left. Actually, you see this bit right here? That might work. Maybe one of those caps, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. But for now, I'm just gonna stick to base painting the carrosserie, I think it's called. I'm honestly looking forward to do the rust work, because while working on the tanks on the diorama, I noticed painting rust can be very fun. Of course, you always need to make sure to get the best result. But if you can make rust look good, then it is absolutely fun to paint rust. For now, I don't think I will do too much on the bottom of the car, because you won't see it anyways. May decide to change it later on, but for now, just let it be. You can also see there's a crack right there in the front, and I think I'm just gonna let it be. As I mentioned before, these cars have been sitting out in sun, rain, cold, wind, all kinds of weather, so it's still a wonder they're still visible that they were cars once. So I'm definitely not doing too much on that. Almost first layer done. After this one, I will apply some wash to really bring out the details. Then we start dry brushing, then highlighting, then detailing. But for now, most of the base layer that I can apply right now is on there. This is definitely a lot of fun to do. So we're gonna let that dry, and then I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so the paint is dry, and I think it's time to apply the wash. I also made the holes go away, as you can see. So let's do some wash. Also, I have to take in account that my battery is almost dead, so I have to hurry up for this round, then I can charge the battery again, and then we are all set for the next job on this build, which will be dry brushing, and then we do some highlighting, as I explained already. And now I don't want to be too going too easy on the wash, and may go everywhere. So my camera is in a odd angle, so it's actually quite hard to do a good job. So I had to recharge my battery because it actually died on me, but I started the dry brushing process, and I also added some wheels on the back, as you can see. I took off the tire, and it might look a little sloppy, but as I mentioned before, the cars are standing outside for 80 years already, so I guess I don't have to do a good job on this. But yeah, as you can see also on this photo, it has a back wheel, so I think that is a cool detail. For now, I am going to apply some stripes from where the car has been rusting. So take a brush and then just, oh, you barely don't see that. Maybe mix it up with a little black. For now it may look a little bit sloppy, but I will guarantee that it will turn out a bit better. Gotta trust the process. Alright, let's mix up a batch. Water it down real well. There's also a lot of dust in there. So now I want to make a bit dark brown color. Water it down like I mentioned. Like so. Now if I apply it, it'll give me some nice dark stripes. Okay, now I grab another brush. That actually is starting to look quite good. Okay, so I am going to water down some more black because I also want to do the very thin details for example here. The inside. Giving it some more detail, which is really nice. Also the grill. But there you have it. This definitely looks way better already. Now we're gonna let this dry once again, and then we're gonna start doing some highlighting, and that will bring for all the other nice details which are in this model. But for now I'm definitely happy with how it's starting to turn out. Alright, we're gonna do some highlighting. For that I am going to mix up a very small amount of orange. This looks quite a lot actually, but once again, trust the process and it will all be alright. Now first up I am going to take a small brush, or small, not small, but first I want to do some of these edges. Get some rusty effect on there. Now we start to build layers, and as you will see along the way, the rusting effect will become more and more realistic. So, grab a fine brush. Then I'm going to trace all these edges. As you see, you may notice that I'm also keep doing down strokes, like so, because rain goes down. So if you do the downstroke, the effect will be more of it as it have been raining, and the rain has been taking all that dirt off. Now we add another layer on the very thin edges. Man, this is turning out really great. Amazing. Now one last layer and I will make this very, very bright. Because rust can be bright as well. As you can see right there. There are some very light spots like there and on the back, of course. Okay, this is not really working as I hope to be, but I will get it fixed. No, it's watered down too much. So. Doing some highlighting on the front of the grill. And I actually think I can live with this. This turned out really, really good. I may apply one other layer of brown wash to blend it all in a bit better, but for now, this is definitely looking very good.